All right, so we're going to cover the lightning fast 5K formula. Okay, so basically what this is, the lightning fast 5K formula. Let's say um, you are kind of you going through like analysis paralysis, or you're just getting started and you're brand new, or you've been absorbing the information but you really haven't applied action yet, or if you're afraid because you kind of don't know all the information yet and you're going through the modules, you're going through the information, and you need something to kick you in the butt. Well, what this will do is the lightning fast 5K formula is designed so you can take action right now. And what will happen is when we follow this, the end result is you'll get a check. Now, I'm doing this because I want your videos for the Flip2Freedom Challenge. I know if you take this information and you get over the fear and you get over the I don't know, and you just do it and make a commitment right now that whatever I show you right now, you will do today, no matter what. Take action today and do it today. And what happens is in the next 2 to 3 weeks, 4 weeks, you'll have a check in your hand for $5,000 or more. Okay, if you follow exactly what I'm about to tell you. Now, there's going to be some inhibitions. You might be afraid of what's going to happen or what's going to come up or what's what the things maybe you don't know. The bottom line is that we learn the fastest through action. We learn the absolute fastest through action. Now, my daughter is 14 years old and she's learning how to drive. So I kind of let her drive around the block a little bit. So, I can talk to her on how to drive, right? I can talk to her on how to put the car in drive and adjust your mirrors and make sure the radio's off, put on your seatbelt, look all around. I can talk to her about the process of driving a car, but I can tell you she has learned more by just getting in the car and feeling how it moves and feeling the speed of pushing on the gas and feeling the car move, and then actually turning into that corner and then turning wide or turning shallow. So, you learn a lot more by doing. So what I want you to do now is make a commitment right now that what you'll do is you'll just follow what I'm going to tell you and just do it. Don't contemplate, consider, evaluate it, discuss it. Don't let your analytical side of the brain know that I have to know all the information, I have to know all this information, because guess what? You will learn way more during the process doing what I'm about to show you than just sitting back and trying to analyze every single step. Now, I know there's people on the phone that are analytical and they want to know all the steps. Well, we got to put that aside. We got to put that aside and just do it, blow through it. Because after in the next 30 days doing what I'm telling you to do, if you do that and you follow that, then you'll have results. You'll be talking to sellers. You'll be making offers. You'll be talking to buyers. You'll be doing that process that will get you that first check, which is the most exhilarating thing I can tell you is on the planet. If you hear people talk about, in these stories about getting their first check and the excitement of doing that, there's nothing like it, because all the doubt, all the fear, all the unknown, all the the stuff that goes in our brain of what if I can't do it? What if I can't find a deal? What if I don't know what I'm doing? What if it doesn't work? All this stuff, this cloud of black cloud of junk goes away. The sky parts, the sun clears, and it becomes crystal clear exactly what you need to do through the entire process once you get that first check. So it's absolutely imperative to go out and do whatever it takes to get that check. Now, let's say you've already got that check. Now it's imperative to do more of the same and then systemize. And that's what we get into about at the Extreme Freedom event, is taking you through the process, but then also going out and taking it to the next level. What does $500,000, what does $1 million, what does $100,000 a month wholesaling business look like, and we'll kind of break that down in detail to show you exactly what happens. So anyways, the lightning fast formula to $5,000. Now, before I get into this, I was talking to Eric Thomas. We did an interview, and he brought up a phenomenal analogy that I want to kind of talk to you about so you understand this. Is that, when we get started and we're brand new and we're looking and we see the success of others, and the success could be, John, winning, making his first $9,000 check, or others making $9,000, or you could see, folks, that are doing $100,000 a month, or $20,000 a month, $30,000 a month, right? And what we do is it's almost like compared to an apple tree. Now, it's an apple tree. It has a large trunk, a fully developed apple tree. It has all these leaves, and it has a huge canopy, and every single year it produces apples. It could produce thousands and thousands of apples every single year. So what we do is we look at that apple tree and we go, wow, I want that apple tree. I want to have that apple tree, right? And what happens is in that apple tree is compared to, say someone that has been doing the business for a while and they're making $50,000 a month, or $10,000 a month, or $20,000, and they've reached a level of success, and that is a full-grown, say, apple tree. Now, to get an apple tree, we're given a seed, okay? And now what happens is between a seed and an apple tree, there's what's called a process, okay? Now, between where you are and success, there's a process. Between a seed and an apple tree, there's a process. But what happens is people get involved, or they, get a program, or get this information, or get that information, or read a book, or whatever, and they're given the seed, right? But they want the apple tree overnight. Now, we all know that if we're giving a seed, we're not going to have an apple tree overnight. It's just not going to happen. We know that. It's logical sense, which is the exact same thing as realizing that there's a process of doing what we have to do. Now, in the seed, if we do the process and we water it and we nurture it and we fertilize it and we protect it from the elements, it will grow into an apple tree and it will produce fruit. So what does that mean? There's a guarantee, meaning it will happen. If we do the process, we will get to success and results, right? Same thing with what we're doing here. If you follow the process, if you continue and you persist with it, you will get the results, period. That's success. Whether it be wholesaling, whether it be fix and flip, whether it be buy and hold, whether it be starting a software company, whether it be starting an app company or online company, the bottom line is that if you persist, you will get success. The bottom line. So what happens is, this was my big problem, prior to making a commitment in real estate, is that I was given a seed for something like, stock investing. I want to do day trading. I was given a seed, right? And what happened is I would do that seed, and after 30 days or 45 days or 60 days, I didn't have an apple tree. I was like, oh, this doesn't work, and I go find another seed, right? And we do that. We jump around, and we go, holy cow, look at that apple tree. I want that apple tree. I want to have those apples. I want to have that lifestyle. I want to drive those cars. I want to do those things, right? And what happens is that we get the seed, which in the seed could be the Flip2Freedom Academy, and we start going through the seed and we nurture the seed, and then either we have results or the results are maybe slower than we expected, and then we abandon that seed, right? And then because someone goes, holy cow, look at that pear tree. That's an incredible pear tree. Oh my goodness, look at that pear. I want to have that pear tree. So what does someone do? They give you a seed to a pear tree. And they say, if you nurture it, if you, fertilize it, if you take care of it, if you water it, you'll eventually have a pear tree. So what we do is we go in and we do all the process, the things that we need to do, and then we don't have a pear tree in 30 to 45 days and overnight or whatever, and we get mad because this stuff doesn't work. And then someone says, look at that orange tree. Oh my gosh, that's an incredible orange tree. And you look at the lifestyle and the things and everything to do with that. what happens? Give you a seed. Here's the bottom line. If you want to make it in anything, first off, you take a seed, let's call it an apple seed, and you focus on that seed, period. That's it. You put blinders on. Like if you go to the horse races, horses have blinders on so they can't see anything but the track. So put your blinders on, focus on this seed, and give it 5 years. Give it, bust your butt, focusing on that 5 years, because guess what? You might get, there's an iTunes review that I posted up in the Flip2Freedom Academy of a guy who started listening to the podcast, got involved with the academy, and within a year, he quit his job. He replaced his $200,000 a year job following this system. Okay, so the bottom line is that it works. Okay, the seed will turn into an apple tree. You will be able to accomplish the things, but we have to follow the process. Now, what I'm going to show you is an accelerated way to get a tree. What I'm going to give you right now is the plant food. It's the supercharged, super growth thing that's going to take it from a seed to maybe not a full-grown apple tree, but the growth is going to be there, and but it takes energy and effort and work to go out and to make that happen. So I basically wanted to set the stage with that to let you know that focus on the seed that you have, because it will produce results like you have no idea, and then you will get to success. But guess what? Don't jump around from seed to seed to seed to seed, an apple tree, orange tree, pear tree, lemon tree. Oh my gosh, what, because guess what? If you don't put the time and energy and effort in focusing on that seed until fruition, then we won't get the things that we want. It's like anything. So let's get into this. The lightning fast 5K formula. First thing, I'm going to take you through each one. Call Lance at US Leads List or pull an absentee owner list from ListSource. Direct mail, yellow letter magnet or postcard. Send calls to a voicemail system, make offers on every lead, find closing agent, sell property super fast, assign the deal for a quick 5 to 10K. So let's talk about getting the list. You can go to usleadlist.com, usleadlist.com. Use promo code Sean Terry. He'll give you a discount. I don't get anything from it. I'm trying to pass on the savings to you guys. It's like an affiliate code or whatever. But get that, and passes the 100% savings on to you. Now, if he does not provide a list for your specific area, that's okay. We can pull a list of absentee owners from ListSource. So call Lance first, right? And what he provides is what's called the inheritance list. The inheritance list are people who own properties in a trust, and they have recently passed away, and the trust must liquidate the property or may choose to liquidate the property, and you can get smoking deals on it. Okay, it's different from probate. Probate is someone who does not have a trust, and they go through a legal process through the court systems to determine how they liquidate assets to pay off debts. Okay, and here it's a trust. So now the trust controls the property. They don't have to go through a legal process, and they typically can move and sell properties fairly quickly. So call Lance at usleadslist.com. Ask him if he has an available list in your area. If he doesn't, then that's okay. If he doesn't, get on the waiting list, right? If someone drops off, then you can take that spot. Otherwise, let's go in and pull a list of absentee owners in ListSource. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to ListSource. This is listsource.com. Okay, and this is where you can go. You can get lists for all different types of things. Lists for pretty much everything. Okay, so I'm going to log in, and then what we're going to do here is we're going to go to investor foreclosure. We're going to go absentee owners, right? And we're going to search geographical area, right? And we're going to search by county. Now I'm going to first select a state, of course. I'm going to pick Arizona. And then whatever it could be for you. So I'm going to pick Maricopa County, and I'm going to add it. Okay, so there's 277,948 absentee owners. Okay, that's how many are there, right there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to go to let me see next. Okay, we're going to go to property type, right? And we're going to go to single family. Where is it? Single family, right here. Residential SFR. Now, you could do triplexes, right? If you want to do something different, triplexes, vacant land if you want, timeshares, multifamily, mobile homes, duplexes, condominiums. But right now, we're going to focus on single family residence. Okay, we could put in buildings and stuff like that. I pretty much just ignore all that right there. We're not going to do last market recording date, first mortgage origination date. Okay, so we're going to do first mortgage origination date. Now, what we're going to do is I do 12, oops, 12, 3100 to 1-1-2001. Whatever. 0-0. So that will give us all the first mortgage origination date. So I'm going to give it. So that's 14,000 properties had originated a mortgage prior. Okay. Lot area first mortgage origination date. We got that first. Now, let's say, for an example, in your area, like if you're in Phoenix, houses are the average median house here is about, I think, like $110,000. So that's probably where the majority of the cash transactions are happening. So if you're in California, though, the average median house is say $400,000. Then what you can do is take that and use that amount. Use that amount and say, okay, I want to go from 1 to, I'm going to call it up to 150,000. And that gives us 4,000. Okay, so now we go next. Okay, so this right here says absentee, including properties with in-state owners, including properties with out-of-state owners. Okay, I include both. That means if it's an in-state owner, that means that they own a property that's an investment property that is now they live in state. Okay, maybe they don't live in the same house, of course, but they live in state. Out of state properties is they live out of state, but they own property in state. So let's say if you want to get this list count down, if you want to get it down, we could do a couple different things to do this. One, we can do take out in states and see what happens. It's 13. We could also go to, oops. That's not let me see. Okay, so that's 1,300. So we want to include corporate, exclude trustee-owned properties, no preference, that's fine. Address, you want to have mailing address, property address, both mailing address and property address. And there's 1,384. purchase list. Okay, so this is showing $238 for 13. Now, what we could do is we could go in here, right? And we could select partial list, and we could do one like every, I don't know, third lead. We could do only X amount of leads. So let's say, for an example, if I wanted to do only 500, so I'd recalculate. So it'd be $86. Okay, now make sure you press this button right here, remove duplicates. Okay, so that removed duplicates out of there. Okay, so now you can save your criteria, refine the search, or you can continue checkout. So now you got 500. Let's do 1,000. I would definitely tell you to start with 1,000. Okay, 172. 172. Okay. All right, so now we have our list. We download our list. Save it. It'll give you a download page, and now you download it. Okay, so that's our list. Okay, so now schedule the send mailer ASAP. So what we're going to do is send our list, right? Our list of 1,000 for 172 bucks. We're going to send them to yellowlettermail.com. Use promo code Sean Terry, and I'll pass all the discount on to you. Okay. Now, use the postcard magnet or the yellow letter magnet. It will be posted in this coaching call. Be posted below. Now, Yellow Letter Mail has both my postcard magnet and my yellow letter magnet on file. Okay, they have those on file. So all you have to do is request Sean Terry's postcard or Sean Terry's yellow letter. And if you do that, they'll be able to use that, and then you can use my specific postcard or letter. Okay, which works great. And I talked about that in the webinar if you saw it. But the bottom line is that the letter converts incredibly well. So now yellow letter, $1.36 per postcard, $39 per. That would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? All right, 39 cents per. And with 1,000 order plus. Okay, so now you've got $390. So you get your list, and now you get your mailing out. Okay, make sure you send first class. The mail drops faster. If you do bulk takes, and these are the quotes on the yellow letter and the postcard. Those are first class. So send first class. The mail drops faster. Michael will give you a 7-day turnaround and printing to dropping. So so now you got 7 days. You call them and you do it today. 7 days from now, your mail will go out, and it will take 72 hours to actually hit with the phone start ringing. Okay, so the phone will start ringing. So schedule to send your mailer. So now we got the list. I could schedule to send a mailer today and get it out. Okay. So now, what voicemail service? You can use Google Voice, it's free, or you can use Freedom Voice paid and use a different number for each separate mailing. Now, right now, we're doing one mailing. We're only doing a mailing to absentee owners. Now, if we were going to do a mailing to absentee owners and inheritance, we would need 2 different numbers. Now, Google Voice, you have to have 2 different, Google accounts to log into and get the calls coming in. Whereas Freedom Voice, you can have one specific platform where all the calls go into one platform. Okay, we use Google Voice for voicemail and Pat Live for live answering service. Okay, we're testing both. And actually, we've been a month and a half testing with Pat Live, and it's actually working incredible. We're going to talk more about it at the event. Taking calls and making offers. Call back every lead. Don't leave any lead unturned. What will happen is a seller might call up. They're going to leave a voicemail and said, hey, I just got your postcard. I just got your letter. And, I'm looking to sell my house, and I want to get this out of it. And their number might be, you might look at the comps, right, and go, wait a minute, this guy wants over what the thing is worth, for crying, on the good value, and you might not call him back. Well, guess what? Maybe he made a mistake. Maybe he gave you the wrong address. Maybe something was off. So call back every single lead. Now, what's going to happen if you do yellow letters and you send 1,000 yellow letters, right? You'll get about anywhere from 75, right, to 100 calls. If you do postcards, you'll get 30, you'll get probably 30 plus calls, around 30 calls. Okay. Now, what's great about the letter I use, it's highly qualified. It says you're an investor. You're looking to buy a property in their area. If they want to be considered, please give a call. So now they're calling to have their property considered, which is great. Now, gather the information on the lead sheet or in Freedom Logic CRM. So what's going to happen is you can use the lead sheet inside the Academy. Under the forms and contracts, look for seller lead sheet and fill that out thoroughly. Gather as much information as you possibly can, and then, or you can put it in free. If you have Freedom Logic, go into freedomlogic.com and enter all the seller information, each one of the fields. Okay. The important information that you want to get, of course, is property address, and all this is on there. It's on the lead sheet. It's on the inside the CRM. But you want to know, how quick are they looking to sell? Okay, and what I usually say to a seller, say, listen, if we could put, if we could put something together, how quick would you like to sell? And they're going to say, well, I'm not in a real rush. Okay, well that might give you an idea of motivation. Well, if you say, listen, if we could put something together, and I like the floor plan, I like what the property like and stuff like that, we could come up with a number, how quick are you looking to sell? And they go, oh my gosh, I just want to get rid of this thing, I want to sell as soon as possible. So ASAP. That's a level of motivation that you can potentially get a lower price on the property. Okay, so now what's going to happen is you're going to enter and gather their information. You're not going to make an offer right there initially because you're brand new, you're starting, you're plumping it, and you're going to gather the information, then you're going to do some research. Now the goal is to gather the information, and you want to call them back as soon as possible. Don't let them sit for 3 or 4 days. They're going to forget who you are. Okay, when you talk to them on the phone, build a rapport, be comfortable with them, and then say, great, let me pull some data on this, get some information on it, and I'll give you a call. So determine value. Okay, determine the value of the property. You could use the comps inside of Freedom Logic if you have that, or you can use like Redfin, you can use Zillow. But what you want to do to make it simple, so you don't have to overcomplicate it, take the 3 of the highest comparable properties within a 1 mile radius, 3 of the highest comparable properties, okay, and add the 3 comps together and divide by 3, and that's your average. Okay, if you get 100, 150, and 120, which I don't know what that is, right? So if you got, okay, oops. So you got 100 plus 150 plus 120. So I told you have to be smart to do this. Okay, divided by 3 equals, that's $123,000. So that averages out to $123,000, and that would be your value. Okay. Then use the formula, okay? And the formula is this. Take the value, the average value, so in this case it's 123, times 0.70, which is $86,000, minus repairs, okay? Now, repair formula, right, is the square footage times $10 to $15. That's a guesstimate. So let's say, for an example, it's 1,000 square feet and it's $10, it's $10,000. So now, in our example, minus $10,000 equals $76,000 minus a $10,000 profit. Make sure you calculate $10,000 in there, and it's $66,000. Same thing here. Example, 100,000 times 70% equals 70,000 minus 12,000. Let's call that repairs, minus 10,000. That's your profit. Okay. And 48,000 is your offer. That's your offer. Don't put a $5,000 number in for your profit, because then when you make your offer, if you negotiate, now you get down to $2,000 or $3,000 for a potential profit, which you don't want to do. We put anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 or more, depending on the deal and the motivation. So then if we negotiate, we always make 10. Now, the repair formula, like I said, is the square footage of the property times $10 to $15. Okay, so what's happening here is that we are sending out letters. We got 7 days or whatever. Calls start coming in. We're going to gather the information. We're going to take our time. We're going to relax, right? Then we're going to determine value, take the 3 highest ones, average them out, and then we just do a simple formula. 70% less repairs, less profit equals our offer. That is a general simple way to be able to do that. Now, here's the deal. Here's the most important part. Write a contract on every single lead. Make offers on every single. What does make offers mean? If you have a $100,000 house, or you think it's $100,000, right? And times 0.70, 70%, equals 70,000, right? Minus 12,000 and $10,000 of profit, 48,000. So what you're going to do is you're going to write up a contract. The contract's in the Flip2Freedom Academy. Make sure you have the contract clauses that I specify in the Academy. And the easiest one to remember is contract subject to partner's approval. Once you have a contract clause in there like that, contract subject to partner's approval, what will happen is the entire contract is subject to. Meaning that if your partner doesn't approve, and your partner could be your cash buyer, correct? If your cash buyer doesn't approve, then guess what? You can cancel the deal. No harm, no foul. Okay? So make offers on every single lead. And here's what will happen is that you write up the offer and you fax it and you send it off or you email it off to Mr. Seller. Now, Mr. Seller, and you're going to put a deadline date. The deadline date's going to be, maybe 5 days or 7 days that they have to either A, respond, right? Or B, they don't respond and the contract becomes null and void. So what's going to happen is most people will respond. And 2 things are going to happen. 1, they're going to say, forget it, I can't do it. Or 2, it's going to open up conversation. So you're offered $48,000. What if the guy's at $53,000? He goes, I can't do 48, but I can do 53. And you come back and say, 53 is a little tough because of the, I said, well, actually what I do is because you haven't looked at the property yet. This is all done without looking at the property still. You say, okay, $53,000. Well, listen, I'm going to come look at the property. I'm going to see the condition based upon what you told me over the phone. You said the property is in excellent condition. If the property meets that criteria, what you said, and you said it was in great condition, let's see what we can happen. If the property is not as in good condition, then obviously I have to come off that number a little bit. So what you're going to do now is set the appointment and go meet him. But now you already have a conversation. You have a contract that's out there. And now you can sit in front of the guy, and then now you have a gap. Your gap is 48 to 53. Or they could, and that's the gap. So all you got to do is negotiate. And the easiest way to close the gap is say, you know what, why don't we just split it down the middle? So you got a $5,000. So you split it down the middle, we'll put you at $50,500. Okay? And that's the easy way to negotiate. Say, listen, we got a gap. If the gap makes sense, then just say, why don't we just split it down the middle? So the bottom line is this, I want you to get out of this, is you take the calls and you don't stress on the phone. All you're doing is gathering information. Once you gather the information, you do your research, and on your piece of paper, you take the average of 3 comps, right? Then you come up with your 70% less repairs with a number, and then what you do is you write the contract and you send it to the guy. First off, the guy's going to be like, holy cow, this guy, he gave me an offer. So now that seller is going to sit down with her wife, and they're going to talk about your offer. They're going to sit down and talk to their partner. They're going to talk about your offer. They're going to sit down and think seriously about it, because now you just take it from a guy who sent a postcard to conversation to now you're sending a legal binding contract saying, hey, I want to buy your house. It goes from a conversation to a serious event almost overnight, okay, just because you sent the contract. So that's incredibly important. Now, during this process of sending the letters, okay, there's going to be that 7-day gap of a window. During those 7 days, you're going to find a closing agent. Google Wholesale properties for sale, Phoenix. Wholesale properties for sale, Denver. Wholesale properties for sale, Albuquerque, whatever. In your city, you're going to Google it. And what happens is you're going to find other wholesalers. You want to look for other wholesalers that can refer a good closing agent. Now, not all other wholesalers will do that. A lot of other wholesalers are highly protected on the information they give out from some Joe Blow that just calls on the phone. But some aren't. Some are okay with that. They don't have a scarcity mentality. Or you can go through the phone book like I did when I first started, call title company or escrow companies or attorneys. Call up, and what you're going to ask them is ask them if they do assignments. Simple. Forget the, double escrow right now, all that, because some people don't know how to explain it correctly, or the closing agents don't know exactly specifically what it is. Just ask them, say, listen, if I get a property under contract and I get a buyer for it, can I assign that contract to the buyer? And most title companies say, sure, no problem. Now, we have simple assignments inside the academy under the forms and contracts section. Now, how to sell your property super fast. Ask the closing agent, the one you just talked to, the one that you found that could do the assignment. Ask him if they know any cash buyers. My closing agent has a relationship with tons of cash buyers. They're looking to buy properties all the time. She's got me in contact with about 4 or 5 cash buyers that I do a ton of business with, which is great, which is just asking for a referral. Put your ad on Craigslist, Backpage, or eBay Classified, right? And you want to advertise equity. Give an example. Deep discount property for sale, worth $100,000, for sale $61,000. So someone's going to go, holy cow, it's worth $100,000, right? I'm selling for $61,000. Wow, that's a huge deal. They're going to see $39,000 of equity in this property. That's huge. So what you want to do is do what it's worth and what you're selling it for. Or you can place bandit signs all around the property in high traffic areas. So you want to place bandit signs in high traffic areas all around the property. Okay, and say, they can say must sell house, cheap house for sale, and then put your phone number. Send email or call cash buyer real estate agents. So, during this 7-day period, you want to find a closing agent, right? Ask that closing agent if they know any good realtors that are friendly that you could potentially work with that are investor friendly. So that closing agent, not only do they know cash buyers, but also they know agents, real estate agents. So they refer you to a nice real estate agent, right? Which referrals are always great, especially from closing agents. And you call them and say, hey, listen, I got a property for sale. I'm going to be selling for $61,000. Would you have any potential buyers for this particular property? Now, let them try to sell it. They might try to sell it, and they could tack on, $4,000 or $5,000, $3,000 or $4,000 onto your net price. So what would a realtor do? They would market it to their buyers, and add, say, $3,000. So they would put it on the market, or they not put it on the market. They wouldn't list it, but what they would do is they'd talk to their buyers about it for $64,000. Now, what you do is also tell the agent, say, listen, maybe you can help me find other, cash buyer real estate agents, and you could get a referral fee out of it. And maybe the referral fee is typically 25% of whatever that commission would be. So let's say that commission is $3,000. They could get 25% just for helping you either send an email or call cash buyer realtor agents in that area. So what you do is do a search within the MLS, and in the MLS, and you'd be sitting with your agent doing this, and you'd find all the cash transactions that have happened in the MLS, at least a 3-mile radius around your subject property for the last 90 days. So what are you doing? You're pulling all the cash transactions that have happened in the MLS over the last 90 days that is 3 miles from your property. Then what you're going to do is in the MLS, you're going to have a selling agent, and that is the agent who brought the buyer. Those agents are the agents you want to either collect their email address or you want to call them, and when you call them, right? You can say, hey, I got a property for sale. It's off market. Here's the address. Here's the information. I believe it's worth 100. I'm selling it for 61. If you have a buyer, just tack on your fee on top of my price. And what happens? They'll be ecstatic. They'll be like, sure, I'd love to do that. After 2 weeks, after you've done the bandit signs, you sent the email to cash buyers and called realtors, you put it on Craigslist back page, and and you've done that, right? If you, after 2 weeks, you can't find a buyer, co-wholesale with a local wholesaler. So call back those wholesalers that you talked to prior and say, listen, I got this smoking deal. Do you have buyers? Can you blast it out to your list? Can you send it out to your buyers? And you're going to do they're going to send you or you're going to send them a simple option agreement that's going to give them controlling interest so they can market the property. And I have that inside the academy as well. Now you're going to assign the property fast. Now, what's going to happen is you're going to put marketing, right? You're going to put Craigslist, Backpage, eBay Classified. You're going to talk to other agents. And what happens is you're going to get a buyer, right? And that buyer is going to say, hey, I want to buy it for, say, 61 or 60, whatever the number is, and they're going to sign a contract with them, okay? And I have a sell side contract, a BC side contract on my website for contract for selling, or it's in Freedom Logic. So what you can do is you can take that contract and meet with them. I would suggest you meet with the buyer, unless it's a real estate agent. A real estate agent will just get the contract that you specify and send it over to you. They're not going to want to have you meet their buyer. They represent their buyer, and they just will get the contract and get it done. So what's going to happen is, if you just get a buyer off a bandit sign or Craigslist or whatever, what's going to happen? I would say meet with them, have the contract pre-filled out prior to meeting them, and then collect the $2,500 earnest money deposit. Okay, then bring both contracts to the closing agent. You bring both of them. You have a purchase contract, right, with the seller that you got a contract on. And because what's going to happen is you put all these offers out, one of them is going to come back and you're going to close the gap, and you're going to get that deal for, say $50,500. You're going to sign it. Now you're going to have a contract. So you can have a buy side contract, you have a sell side contract, right? And now you take both those contracts to the closing agent. You instruct the closing agent, to do an assignment, right? So they do a simple assignment, and you sign closing documents, right? They'll schedule is set up to sign the assignment contract and the closing documents, and you collect your check. You get your first deal. And boom, you get it. And now you're excited and you've done it. That is the entire process. It's simple, it's straight to the point, and it's the fastest way I know on this planet for you to go out and get a deal in the next 3 weeks, next 4 weeks, and you can have a big check. Now, the next thing you do is post your success story to the Flip2Freedom fan page, and make sure you register at flip2freedomchallenge.com for that. So that is the deal. That is the fastest way to go out and get a check.